I can't see anything down here. Could I get some light on this, please? Ah, much better.
So now let's talk about some of the other features that were not really looked at in IC2. We have coffee. Coffee was by far one of my favorite things from IndustrialCraft. Of course, you have to get into the IC2 breeding to be able to get coffee beans, and then you grind up the coffee beans into powder, and then you combine the powder with water in a stone mug, and you get cold coffee. But you can smelt the coffee and get hot coffee, or dark coffee, I should say. And then you can combine it with sugar and milk to get normal coffee. And you can always go back to dark coffee if you want. One thing that I really loved was the fact that the effect that you got from drinking coffee could stack. So if I drink this dark coffee, I get speed and haste, but not for very long. And if I drink this, I get more speed and more haste. In fact, it gives me speed 2 and haste 2, and for a little bit longer. Now I could keep drinking coffee over and over and over again until eventually I have like an hour's worth of speed 2 and haste 2. There was a method of circumventing this by, if you drink too much coffee, you start to get dizzy and nauseous. However, you could simply eat Terrawort and it would remove the negative effects while keeping your positive effects. So you could have an hour's worth of speed 2 and haste 2, and I could actually dig craters faster than a Buildcraft quarry could work. One of my favorite things, absolute favorites. So another thing that was pretty much never used was Industrial TNT. Industrial TNT was pretty different to the vanilla TNT in that by giving it a redstone signal, if I can type lever, louver, whatever, I simply place the TNT down, I light it, it explodes, but it doesn't destroy any of the items. So this was actually a pretty decent method of being able to mine things out without having to really spend too much time on it. So now I got a ton of sand in my inventory, which I don't need. Of course, there was also dynamite. You could craft these dynamite sticks and sticky dynamite. That dynamite's from a different mod. So I could throw that dynamite and it would explode. Not a very big explosion, but could be useful. It was the first iteration of like a grenade in Minecraft, which I thought was pretty interesting. But there's also the sticky dynamite. Now the sticky dynamite, I believe, has a remote fuse. So I can throw the sticky dynamite, and it explodes. Huh. Well, there is a dynamote, which I think I'm not actually too sure about this. No, doesn't really do anything. Huh, that's interesting. So to make the dynamote, you need TNT. Actually, you can do it two different ways. I guess depending on the tech level that you've reached. I have to wonder if this would actually work on industrial TNT. Nope, doesn't work. Alright. I don't really know what the dynamite is for. Again, probably one of those things that never had any documentation on it. and was overlooked. So I'm reaching the end of all the things I want to cover in old Industrial Craft, and when I cover the newer versions of it, I won't bother going over most of their features since I've done it in the past few videos. The last few things that I have to talk about are the terraformer and the nuclear power. And I think that is pretty much all that I have to cover. So let's get into that. Here we have a terraformer. Now the terraformer uses an absolute ton of power because it is a very powerful item. Now one of the things you had to give the terraformer was a blueprint. TFBP, that's what it's called. So the terraformer blueprint. You had to make a terraformer blueprint for whatever you wanted to do. And it's a pretty cheap thing to make. However, in order to set it to a certain type of environment, you had to craft it with certain items. You could make a cultivation blueprint, an irrigation blueprint, a chilling blueprint, desertification, flatification, or a mushroom blueprint. Now, all these blueprints will change the environment in a wide area around it to whatever the description says. The cultivation blueprint makes like a lush garden environment. The irrigation blueprint makes farming better. So if you have IC2 crops, you'd want to use the irrigation blueprint alongside of it to improve your farming. The chilling blueprint created something like a winter wonderland up until snow blocks piled up so high and reached their limit. And then you would have like a tiny glacier. The desertification basically kills any kind of plant life and turns all grass into sand. The flatification will level out the land around the terraformer, making it level with it. And then the mushroom biome, which was unique. The mushroom biome was the mushroom blueprint was the only one that actually changed the biome around the terraformer so that it would be the mushroom island biome. Unfortunately, it was kind of buggy as well. Of course, there was no way to change the biome back to normal, so it would be stuck as this mushroom biome, and it would grow giant mushrooms and mycelium, but it would grow more giant mushrooms on top of the giant mushrooms. So you would have infinite towers of these giant mushroom trees. So why don't we go with that? I'll put that in. Actually, no, I don't want to do that. And I can't get rid of it. I need a wrench. Oh, what happened to it? Did I lose it? What's going on? Okay, I don't know what happened to it. Anywho, let's get a different blueprint. Let's do the cultivation one. There we go. I got my other one back. So as we can see, nothing's happening yet. I just have to flip the switch on this, and it will start powering it. And pretty soon, it's going to change this desert into a lush garden. And that'll look pretty nice, I think. So we'll just have to wait for that to work. And I'll come back when it's done. So as we can see here, if I turn off F8, the terraformer has done a really good job. If we fly up and just look down at it, it's like Gaia herself dropped a nature bomb on this area in particular, and the fallout just makes everything lively and beautiful. This actually took a while because at first, one high voltage solar panel was just not enough to power this terraformer. So I actually had to add, what is this, 5 more to give it sufficient power. But it has, as we can see, it's going to continue converting this desert into a lush garden until eventually it's just one big invasive area. Now, the only thing that's a little bit weird about the terraformer is that it doesn't have a radius of effect. It just affects a square area. So when it actually finishes terraforming, you just see one big cube of nature, or whatever other blueprint you decide to use to terraform. There you go. That was a nice little timeline of the transformation. If you are wondering how exactly the Dynamote remote works, first you have to place the dynamite stick on the side of a block. Then, with the dynamite omote, right-click on the dynamite. It is now primed and ready for remote explosions. Click in the air, and it explodes. This does not work with sticky dynamite, it only works with regular dynamite. This is also a safer means of setting off a nuclear explosive.
I bet you were expecting some sort of fancy outro. Nope. Just this. But hey, you know what would be cool? Clicking one of those links below? Yeah, that'd make it cool.